Welcome back for another video. My name's Ehabad, a free-to-play endgame player in Raid Shadow Legends. I apologise for there being such a lengthy gap since my last video, but frankly, with world events as they've been, I have not been in the frame of mind to be making content, in all honesty. I just haven't been in the mindset to be wanting to record, edit, post videos. I've been playing the game, but not in the same enthusiasm that I had been previously. Right, so in today's video, we're going to turn our attention to the hard Doom Tower 3 Secret Room 8 Force HP champions only. Unfortunately, these rooms are not very roster friendly, as there really aren't many viable champions to choose from. For me, the MVPs are undoubtedly Versolf and Husk, and hopefully most of you have Versolf from the Fusion during July last year. Husk here provides good CC via his 50% A2 stun and provoke A1. We're also bringing Nazana in a stun set with Fearsome Presence and Sentinel in a high crit stun set to bring yet more crowd control. I have previously cleared this room using Ironclad in a stun set with Immortal to trigger an AoE hit every turn, similar to an AoE A1, but the truth is, Nazana's just better. If you have Black Knight, he would be amazing for this room, bringing great sustain for your team and a reliable A1 provoke. Let's get into the run and see how it plays out. Right, take it off auto. Now, a couple of things to note about this. One, we have Snorting Thug here, who can be a bit of a pain, particularly, stealing your buffs, and he also counterattacks when you place a debuff on him. So I will generally, when he is alive, I won't be buffing. So we'll just go with an A1 attack. We get the counter, but he can't steal anything. We have a choice. We could either do the A1 provoke or the AoE and hope for some more stuns. We will hope for more stuns. And now we'll use Husk's stun. We got 4 out of 5 are stunned up. I will try and drop Snorting Thug's defense because I want him to die first, because he's limiting what we can do on our side. We can't buff ourselves whilst he's alive. So if we try and take him down first, it will help us. We'll go for the A1 provoke. The A1 stun again with Nazana. She's just going to be an A1 spam bot. And with everyone else, we're going to look at whoever's got the highest turn meter and look to try and get the provokes off on them. A couple more stuns. Try and get the provoke on Black Knight. It would be a real pain if he did get through, but we've got Sentinel as a backup. Now try and go for the provoke with Husk. Again, another A1 from Sentinel. This time we got the stun off. At this point, we can use the A2 on Baroff, get a bit of healing for us. And again, try and get the A1 provokes on whoever's got the highest turn meter. Keep going for the A1 stun with Nazana. Again, try to stun everyone. We can use our A2 stun again, and we should be back up with Versolf, who does the double hit on controlled champions. And you can see we're just steadily working our way through. We can save that for the next wave. And we just keep on going. It's the exact same cycle we've been doing the whole time. Really focusing whoever has the highest turn meter and isn't crowd controlled, and just slowly taking everyone else down. At this point we could buff ourselves, but to be honest we don't really need to. There's no one in particular danger at the moment, so I think we just carry on trying to get the crowd control off on whoever has the highest turn meter. I'm more worried about Black Knight than Nazana, but we should be okay. Because that lower visor is a pain. Dead. That knight dead. You can see Sentinel with his 100% chance to provoke on a crit is extremely handy at kind of controlling whichever champion sort of gets out or escapes our crowd control. So what's interesting with this particular wave is we don't have the Snorting Thug, so if we need to, we can bring out Nazana's A2, which would really help distribute the damage we take if required. In the meantime, I'm going to try and continue to do what we've done previously, and that is get as much crowd control done. Here I'm going to go for Black Knight, as he is the most of a pain. We can pretty much do a lot of damage to him. It is a bit annoying that they've got the buffs out. If we're running Snorting Thug ourselves, then we would be able to steal all their buffs, but we're not. Again, the exact same as wave 1, whoever's got the highest turn meter, try and get the A1 provokes out on them. Get a bit of a heal. Try and get an AoE stun. Try and get the A1 provoke. So one other thing to mention whilst we're going through is I've tried Sentinel in a number of different builds. I've tried him in a high damage, squishy build. I've tried him in a tanky build, and the truth is he's considerably better in a tanky build. He's just too squishy, and because he gets quite a lot of A1 provokes off, if you have him in a damage build, he will just die. You know, that isn't what we're trying to achieve here. You lose a lot of your control if you have someone die when you're doing runs in this nature. And you've got enough damage, I'd say, coming from Vasulf and Husk and Baroth if you are running him as well, that Sentinel isn't really required to be outputting too much damage, and to be honest, his damage output's not great at the best of times anyway. So for this room, I prefer him this way. I do think for the rare HP room, having a bit of damage on him is certainly viable and probably advisable. Here we can just be conserving our skills and just slowly work our way through. Make sure we get to wave 3 with all of our skills off cooldown. And you can see it's fairly reliable. We've not been under any real danger this entire time. We've got a nice cycle where Husk goes before Vasulf, gets the stuns off, we get the double hits in. Ideally, Baroth would have been faster than Vasulf, but Vasulf has Whirlwind, so once he gets a few kills, he's actually overtaking my Baroth. It's just one of those situations where, yes, you could ideally tweak the builds to ensure that people go at the right time, but it's one secret room. It doesn't really matter too much. We're not going for any particular, you know, record in terms of beating this room in the fewest turns. If we were, that is the kind of adjustment that we would be looking to make to really, min-max the room. But for what we're just doing here, just trying to get it done, it doesn't really matter. Again, Black Knight getting off that buff, just going to slow us down. It's annoying, but it's not going to be too much of a problem. Let's just try and see who's got the most turn meter. I think it's that Black Knight hiding back there. Hopefully try and get some stuns off. We did. Get the nuke going. Just want to crowd control the husk on the left. We succeeded. We've somehow gone out of cycle, but doesn't really matter. Who has the most hit points? Let's say the Torture Helm there, we can reduce his defense. Try and get the Provoke off on Husk. We missed that little Black Knight, was hiding behind the other Black Knight. But Sentinel was there to save the day. Get a bit of a heal. Should be able to kill that Black Knight. Then here I'm actually going to protect my Sentinel as he's getting a little bit low. That was a bit risky there with the old last breath from Black Knight. That could have caused us quite a bit of pain potentially, but we seem to have managed to survive it. I'm not going to attack Black Knight with Sentinel. As Sentinel is low, I don't want to get the Provoke out from him. I would rather one of my other champions. If Black Knight were to have survived to take a hit on Sentinel, I'd have preferred that he'd been provoked by one of the other champions, of which I have Vasolve and Husk that are both able to do provoke A1s, so it's all about distributing the damage around your team. In any case, we managed to clear it. First time, 146 turns. Yeah, we probably could have done it quicker if we'd had better RNG, such that the Black Knights weren't able to use their own buffs. The increased defense and the continuous heal really does slow down our ability to clear the waves. Obviously in terms of time, 10 minutes, if I'd put it on auto, would have been a lot quicker, but I wanted to walk you through, show you how I'm managing the fight and where I'm choosing to use each ability in a kind of optimum fashion, particularly not getting caught out by buffing yourself too much to allow the Snorting Thug to steal your buffs, which really is a pain. And the other obviously consideration here is if you can keep the entire enemy crowd controlled, you're in a much better situation. So if we go to the builds, have a look at those. Vasolve built in Savage, not my best Savage by any stretch of the imagination, not even crit capped. Enough accuracy to be landing the leech, which does help us with the sustain. 80k HP is a good HP pool, but it's nothing special, like you see some of these endgame players with HP nukers and they're rocking anything from 100 to 140k HP, so you realise that 80 is respectable but not spectacular. Pretty slow at 178. If it was more of a premium build, I would definitely have that a bit faster, but again it's just about getting the job done. He does well enough for me to clear this secret room, and the main reason he's been built is for this secret room. In terms of skills, I have booked him out. Particularly you do want the cooldown and the damage on the A2. I think is pretty important. And the leech 100% is handy, it is nice. I don't really care for the damage nodes on the A1, but it doesn't hurt. And if you were using him in any other content, then the A3 really does benefit from the books. But as you saw in this particular secret room, I don't actually use the A3. So, if you could just get the cooldown on the A2, that would be enough. In terms of masteries, they're unfinished. I mostly just got down to Helm Smasher. I did take Opportunist because I'm really trying to set him up such that all the enemies are stunned where possible. So if I get the 12% extra from Opportunist and his double hit, the damage really stacks up. So this is the route that I decided to take. He is spending most of the time attacking with full HP. So this is kind of how this ended up being defined. I haven't picked a second tree yet. Could go defense, could go support. It's really down to you what you feel is most beneficial. If I find another role for him, it might direct me to one of the two trees. But for now, I've just built to the extent that I needed to. Then Nazana in a stun set. I've tried to make her pretty fast to try and cycle back to the AoE A1 to keep getting those stuns out. I did build her with enough accuracy in case I wanted to use the decrease attack, but for this secret room it's actually not necessary. If I was trying to build her in a more budget way, I would really just go stun set with good HP and good speed, and I really wouldn't worry about anything else. The reason to have a decent HP pool is if you do end up needing to use her ally protection and shield ability to keep your team alive, then she needs to be able to take a hit, and having a decent HP pool, or rather an effective HP pool via the combination of HP and defense, becomes important for that. In terms of the second set, I used Perception because I did put enough accuracy on her for the decrease attack. In terms of skills, I booked her out. If you're only going to use her as an AoE A1 bot, you don't need to book her, but with CVCs aplenty, it's rare that I don't book out epics, to be honest. In terms of masteries, I've gone down, got Fearsome Presence. I did take various nodes to increase her sort of tankiness and survivability, and I took Harvest Despair so I would be able to get additional leeches out to allow my team to stay alive. Particularly, I think if you don't have Vasolve, using stun sets and Harvest Despair is quite a good combination. You will get a good amount of leeches up on the enemy via the stun mechanic. And again, the secondary tree, I started going down the support route just for a bit of accuracy, but I haven't really decided which direction to take, so I've just sort of left it as is, to be honest. Then if we go to Husk, total stats, quicker than Vasolve is the main importance here. Tried to put a bit of damage in, enough accuracy to land the debuffs, a little bit overkill for the content, but I have used Husk a bit in other content as well, so he's kind of a generalist build. In terms of the skills, all booked out. I would say the key ones here really got to get the A2 booked, definitely, and the A1 is extremely useful to have booked. The extra chance to provoke is very, very good, to be honest, for the secret room, and also for Magma Dragon. I like Husk as a budget A1 provoke champion for Magma Dragon. I say budget because he's not the best for it, rather than because he's easy to achieve, easy to attain rather. In terms of masteries, Helm Smasher is the route I took my Husk, but to be honest, you could go a number of different ways. You could easily go War Master, particularly if you want to use him in Hydra. I'd probably say War Master is better for him. I built my Husk in terms of masteries a long time ago, and he was my original damage dealing champion for HP rooms when I was first trying to clear them. So I really made sure that he, or rather I built him in such a way that he could carry the damage for me. So for that it was Helm Smasher, but I don't think these masteries are by any means optimum, so I wouldn't worry about mimicking them at all. If we then go to Sentinel, in a stun set where I've tried to be reasonably tanky, so I've got an okay defense and HP level, so a decent effective HP pool. I've made him pretty quick, tried to get near 100% crit rate. Ideally it would have been 100%, but I'm not going to worry too much about exactly perfectly building all these secret room only champions. It's not worth the silver or the energy to do so. In terms of skills, obviously all booked out. Particularly nice his passive where he gets a bit of a heal each turn and it can crit, so it does help him stay alive when he does, tends to get quite a few hits against him because of this provoke, where he's got this extremely high 85% chance of landing provoke on a crit. It's a fantastic ability, but it obviously does mean that he ends up taking more damage than a lot of other champions. And then he's got an AoE A2, only on a 3-turn cooldown, which is fairly handy, works well with the stun set, means he brings a lot of CC between the A1 provoke and the A2 AoE. In terms of masteries, I've gone down to War Master so he can bring a little bit of extra damage. Like I said, originally I built him not just for this secret room, but also for the HP rare secret room, and I wanted him to kind of provide a reasonable amount of damage. In terms of secondary tree, I've not decided which one to go for. And then last but not least, Baroth, the Blood-Soaked, who in this composition, I have put him in a really average Savage build. Doesn't need to be in a Savage at all. To be honest, like any kind of hybrid build would be fine. He can hit reasonably hard, so if you are able to put a bit of damage into him, it's not a bad route to go. Definitely enough accuracy to land his debuffs. The A3 is our only defense break in this entire composition, does allow us to take down one champion quickly, and also with his A2 he is our only kind of AoE healer, if you will. We've got the leech debuff which helps us heal collectively, but this A2, where the second hit heals all allies for 10% of the damage inflicted, means that you can top up the heal that way for the entire team, and particularly if you're hitting a enemy with the decreased defense on from the A3, then into the A2, and he's in Savage, and if you had Helm Smasher, then that heal could be fairly reasonable in a composition that otherwise has no healer. So, it's not about, is he going to be a great healer for content in general? Absolutely not. Is he going to be a decent healer for this particular secret room if you don't have Black Knight? Yes. Yes, he will. In terms of masteries, I haven't finished them. My target is likely to be going down to Helm Smasher for that exact reason. But, he doesn't need to have his masteries finished for me to be able to clear this secret room with relative ease. So he's on the list of champions to get masteries done, but he's not at top of the list, and he'll get them when he gets them. In terms of skills, all booked out. I think you would have expected nothing else than that. Right then, there you go. Thanks for watching. I hope this has been useful for you. Please like, comment, subscribe. I do read them all and I respond to pretty much every comment I receive. All feedback, always welcome, and good luck with clearing this secret room. Bye for now.